morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing on this beautiful Monday? I pray all is well. I pray that your morning gotten off to an amazing start, but if not, hit that reset button and just start all over again. I thank God for allowing me to see another day, to be before you, to share this short and sweet devotional with you all. Thank God for those who will hop on, those who will be able to stay, and those that will come on and catch the replay. I thank God for you. God bless you, TT. So glad to see you this morning. I pray that this devotional finds you wherever you are, whatever you may be going through, whatever you may be facing. I pray that it answers any questions that you may have this morning. I'm going to get on into this devotional. I'm going to get on out your way. The title of today's devotional is Place Your Trust in God. Place your trust in God. I think many of us, if we will be honest, to say, I have put my trust in things and in people, and I have been let down. I put my trust in my job. They let me down. I put my trust in my spouse. They let me down. I put my trust in my children. They let me down. I put my trust in this and in that. And I was let down. I was disappointed. Things happened that I didn't expect. Things was done that I didn't see coming. But God wants us to put our trust in Him. Why? Because He will never fail us. He's promised that He will never leave us nor forsake us. But for some reason, we put our trust in anything, in everything, and everyone but Him. And oftentimes we have to find ourselves going back home. Just like the prodigal son. He thought he had it made. He thought he had friends. He thought the money wasn't going to never run out. He thought people was going to always want to be in his presence. But as soon as the money ran out, so did the people. So did his friends. So did his family members. To the point he had to go back home. Even if you found yourself in that situation, if you need to return home, because I guarantee you, if you haven't got to that point yet, you will. Where you're going to say, you know what? This is just not worth it. Living a life of sin is just not worth it. Partying is just not worth it. Fornicating is just not worth it. Adultery is just not worth it. I got to go back home. I got to get myself together. I got to get myself right. Who or what have you put your trust in? And the reference scripture is going to be found in Psalms 20 and 7. Psalms 20 and 7. Some trust in chariots, some in horses, but we will remember and trust in the name of the Lord our God. That's Psalms 20 and 7. And I'm going to read that out of my study Bible. I like to break it down a little bit more. As long as there have been armies and weapons, nations have boasted of their power. But such power does not last. See, what you're doing now, what you're holding on to now, what you're afraid to lose now, what you're afraid to walk away from now, it's not going to last. Eventually, you're going to have to come to yourself. At some point, you're going to have to wake up. and said, this is not enough. You're going to have to wake up and say, this is not that. If you haven't gotten there, I'm going to tell you like my grandma used to always say, keep living. Keep living. Throughout history, empires and kingdoms have risen to great power only to vanish in dust. Some things that we hold on to, they're going to eventually fade away. They're going to walk away. You're going to lose it. Why not put your trust in something? Why not put your trust in someone that will never fail you, that will never let you down, that will never walk away from you? David, however, knew that the true might of the nation was not in weapons, but in worship. Not in firepower, but in God's power. So many things that we have given power to. And we wonder why we are discouraged. We wonder why we feel let down. Because when you give someone else your power, they control you. They determine if you're going to have a good day or a bad day. They're determined if you're going to get from A to B. Don't even worry about Z. Sometimes you just trying to get from A to B, and that's a struggle. But when you put your full, complete trust in God, He will always be there. He will see you through whatever you're going through. Because God alone can preserve a nation or an individual. Be sure your confidence is in God. Don't put your confidence in man. We are subject to fail one another, including me. And I hate to bust your bubble, including you. We are subject to fail. Sometimes we put one another on a high horse, depending on the relationship. Sometimes as a parent, we are put on this high horse that we shouldn't make mistakes. We can't make mistakes. But we do. We do, and we have. Why? Because we was not created perfect. We was created to be perfected. So we're going to make mistakes. We're going to make bad decisions. Be sure your confidence is in God, who gives eternal victory. Whom do you trust? That's a question. Whom do you trust? Who has your confidence? Who do you feel that can never let you down? Who do you feel will always have your back? Who do you feel will never leave you nor forsake you? Who has never hurt you? I'll wait. I think I've waited long enough. Let me get on into this read. Where have you placed your trust? Who or what do you depend on to carry you through? Who do you call on when you're going through? Who do you call on when you just need a word of encouragement? Who do you call on when you just need a pick-me-up? Who do you trust to get you through those hard days, those struggling days, those lonely days, those empty days? Who do you call on to carry you through? Is your trust in your job, employer, bank account, or friends? Perhaps your trust is in yourself. I've seen so many people have so much trust and confidence in themselves. Your past record of success, my Lord, education, natural talents, or possessions. These things are all important, but you must realize they are all temporal. Is it okay if I read that again? Because there may have been someone sitting in the back. They may have been talking with their neighbor. They may have had their AirPods in their ears. I'm going to go through that again because I think this is so very important. Sometimes we think we are important because of things that we possess, because of our education, because of our career. It's temporal. Those things are going to fade. Those things are not going to always, they're not going to always be there. I'm going to read it again. Is your trust in your job, your employer, your bank account, or friends? Perhaps your trust is in yourself, your past record of success. How many can raise their hands and have looked in the mirror and said, I'm pretty successful. I did that. I accomplished that. Your education, natural talents, or possessions. What do you possess that make you feel like I'm somebody? These things are all important. Don't get me wrong. But you must realize they are all temporal, subject to change. We got to be careful who and what we're putting our trust in. My Lord, those things are subject to change. God is the only one who doesn't change. He's the only one that remains the same. Even when we walk away from him, even when we leave him, even when we disobey him, even when we don't acknowledge him, even when we don't include him, he stays the same. He said, I'm the same today, yesterday, and forevermore. I change not. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're facing, no matter who walked away, no matter what you lost, I am who I say that I am. Have you ever had someone to say, if you ever need me, all you got to do is call on me, and when you called them, they wasn't there? Have you ever had someone to tell you they'll never leave you, they'll always have your back, but they're no longer there? Have you ever had someone to tell you, if you ever need me, I'm just a phone call away, and you went to call and they wouldn't answer? Have you ever been there? I have. Who or what do you have your trust in? Who are you trying to depend on? Who do you think will always be there? I never imagined my life without my husband, but here I am. What, almost 11 years later? If anybody had told me that would be my life, I'd have been arguing with him today. So we can't put our trust in things and in people, because in a moment's time, they can be gone. And you certainly shouldn't take them for granted either. Let me put that in there. Because that one person that you think will always be there, that one person that you think will never lose, that one person you think will always have your back, one day you may wake up, one day you may get that call that they didn't make it, that they're fighting for their lives. But many times we take one another for granted. Who or what have you put your trust in? God is the only one who doesn't change. He alone is the rock that cannot be moved. If you're holding on to anything, if you have made anything or anyone your rock other than God, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be let down. God is the only one that is unmovable, that is unchangeable. He will always have your back. He will always be for you and not against you. He's that one that you can always have a conversation with, and you don't have to worry about it being leaked out. As children of God, we can have the assurance that God will deliver us in current trouble. Have you ever been in a situation that only God could bring you out? Only He could deliver you? Only He could set you free? Only He can bring you through? Have you ever been in one of them situations? Where when you look back, you said, nobody but God? The only way I got here, God got me here. See, some people ain't been in situations like that. They don't understand what situations like that look like. They don't understand the toll that it takes on you. When you don't have this one or that one, you can call on or reach out to, because God got you in a situation that can't no one help you but Him. Have you ever been there? Just as He delivered us in the past, we can take our trust and put it in the right place, which is in God and Him alone. Whatever you have in your trust in today, if it's not on God and Him alone, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be discouraged, because He is the only one that cannot be moved. He's the only one. Trust is not worried or anxious because it has entered into God's rest. Trust is not confused because it has no need to lean on its own understanding. God tells us not to lean. He said, lean not to your own understanding. Because even leaning to your understanding, our understanding is not God's understanding. Our ways is not God's ways. Trust does not give up or panic. See, when we trust Him like that, we don't give up. We don't panic. We persevere. We keep showing up. We keep getting up. Why? Because God can be trusted. If He say He got your back, you don't have to worry about calling Him. And Him not answering. You don't have to worry about Him, you calling Him, and He's saying, hello, I can't hear you. You know how some people do? All of a sudden, if you're asking for something, now they're static on the phone line. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been through that? Or suddenly the phone call drops. You don't have to worry about that. Because if you call on Him, He's going to answer. He's going to respond. He's not going to move when you want Him, but He's always going to be on time. Trust, believe that God is good and that He works all things out for our good. You may be in a season and you may be going through some things and you just don't understand things. Your life is life, and your life is not making any sense. You can't hardly make sense of what direction God is trying to take you in. But trust Him. Trust Him, because He knows your future. You may feel like your life is falling apart, but God has a way of making those pieces just fall into place. Have you ever been in a place where you just felt like your life is just out of control? You don't know where the pieces are. You can't remember where you did this, where you put that. And you get to the point where you say, Lord, I just don't know what you want me to do. I just don't know which way you want me to go. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been in a situation where it felt like your life was heading in the right direction, and then all of a sudden, you don't know if you're coming or going? Have you ever been there? Trust God. Trust God. Whatever promise God has made you, he's going to come through. I don't care what's going on in your life. If God said he's going to bring you through, he's going to bring you out, he's going to do it. If God said he's going to deliver you, he's going to do it. Don't look for man to do it. Look to God. Trust God. Because God, he is concerned about you. God loves you. I know sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Because when we're going through certain struggles in our lives, we begin to say, Lord, where art thou? Where are you? Do you see me? Do you hear me? Do you even care what I'm going through? But some things we have to go through. Some things need to be removed. Some things need to be restored. Sometimes you need to just start all over. Sometimes God has to get you to a place of knowing who you are. Sometimes we get caught up in being everything that everyone needs us to be. A wife, a mother, a friend, a co-worker. You know, so many things we become, and we lose ourselves in the process. So sometimes God has to get us to know us. I've been there. That when it was all said and done, I didn't know who I was. Trying to be a good daughter, trying to be a good mother, trying to be a good wife, trying to be a good friend, trying to be here for this one, trying to be there for that one, always available, doors always open, always trying to help. And I found myself in a not so good place. But God has been faithful to me. I'm not saying everything that I've gone through or going through that has felt good or that is feeling good, because it does not. But it's going to always work out for your good. Just don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Don't walk away. I know sometimes it gets hard, because when you don't understand exactly what God is doing in your life, you can get frustrated. And you can get tired of showing up, but show up anyway. Do it anyway. Go anyway. Try it anyway. Just don't give up. Because obedience is better than a sacrifice. And God is going to reward you for your obedience. It doesn't have, it does not. It's going to cause people to say, is that really God? But you have to stand. That young lady I told you about, and I posted her video on my page. God had her doing things that was contrary to what her family, how her family did things. And she was living with them. Let's give it a minute. Okay, are we back? Okay. And she was speaking on how God was telling her to stand. Her job, they was used to having careers and going to college. That's not the direction God had for her. So she had to stand in the midst of her family members threatening to put her out. But God was telling her, you stand. Another young lady had a good job. God told her to leave that job and to go into full-time ministry. You think she wasn't talked about? You think she wasn't judged? You think she didn't hear, girl, what are you doing? You finna lose all of that money and all those benefits? But didn't God call people off their jobs in the Bible? The tax collector, those that was fishermen by trade, those are jobs. Those are how those people fed their families. And he said, come follow me. And they had to obey. So sometime God will call you out from the world, out of the world system. And he'll say, follow me. And that's what you have to do. Against what people may feel, against what people may think. We have to be obedient. We have to follow him. We have to do what he tells us to do. Because we are held accountable when we don't obey him. There's consequences when we don't obey him. And it doesn't matter how no one else feel or think. If God told you to go right, that's what you do. God tells you to go left, that's what you do. Today's thought: trusting God may not always be easy. Let me read that again. Trusting God may not always be easy. Why? Because you don't have all the details. You don't have all the answers. You don't know all the instructions. You don't know what the end is going to look like. You don't know what it's going to look like on the other side. So trusting God may not always be easy, but it brings great reward. If you obey him, if you just stick it out, if you just hang in there, there's a great reward that's waiting for you. He is the only source of strength that never fails. Let me read that again. He is the only source of strength that never fails. You can depend on him today and every day. You can, I can, we can depend on him today and every day. If you would like to search some scriptures, study Proverbs 3 and 5. There's Proverbs 3 and 5 and Psalms 40 and 4. That's Psalms 40 and 4. I pray that something was said this morning that will cause you to reevaluate who or what you have your trust in. Because let's face it, things come and go. People come and go. But God will always remain. He will never leave you nor forsake you. He is the rock that cannot be moved. So God wants us to put our trust in him. We all have put our trust in this and that, in this one and in that one. We all are guilty of that. But God is wanting you and I to reevaluate who or what we have our trust in. And if your trust has been in anything other than the solid rock, which is God, ask God to help you to put your trust in him. Because whenever you have your trust in or on, you want it to be solid. Nobody is building a house on quicksand, on sand. How long you think that's going to last? Exactly. So we have to put our trust back in God. And that's where he wants it. So I pray that something was said that don't judge yourself. Just reevaluate. That's all God wants us to do, is to reevaluate and put our trust back in him. I myself is guilty of that. I have put my trust in things. I have put my trust in people. And God had to correct that error. God had to get me back on track. Because I realized the only thing and the only one that I can truly trust and depend on is him and him alone. And you're going to find that out also for yourself. So with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here. I thank God that he brought to my remembrance on the 22nd of last year, I have been saved 11 years. I didn't say I was perfect. I didn't say I never made any mistakes. I said I have been saved for 7 years. I have been going strong for 7 years. And it has not been easy. It seemed like the moment I got saved, God began to remove, God began to strip, God began to take away. And in those moments, you'll begin to wonder, did I make the right decision? Did I make the right move? Did I move too soon? Did I move too fast? Because so many things that God had to remove, that God had to take away, but God is now restoring. And I thank God, because those are things that God knew needed to go at that particular time. And I don't question God about what he did or why he did it. God is God. And he don't have to give us an explanation. But I thank God that 11 years, I'm still hanging in there. I'm still holding on. I'm still grateful for my walk and my relationship with him. Because he have taught me, I have learned so much about people and about myself. Mainly about myself. But I am grateful. I don't have a sad story. I've been through some things that many people would have gave up and walk away. They would have thrown in the towel. They would have said, this is not worth it. I'm out of here. But God has been faithful to, he has been so faithful to me through everything that I've gone through the things that I've lost, through the one, different ones that have walked away. God has still, he has been that, I'm telling you, he has been my all in all. That song said, I never would have made it. I never would have made it without him. I never would have made it without him. So I'm grateful this morning. I pray that you're grateful this morning. If you are going through anything this morning, trust God. Lean on God. Depend on God. Call on God. Include God. He wants to be included. So I'm going to hop off. Again, place your trust. Place your trust in God. If you have had your trust in anything or anyone else, ask God to help you to trust him. It's like I read, I don't think it's going to be easy. Okay, looks like I'm back. I'm going to go ahead and end it because I don't know, look like we're having some type of situation going on. Oh, TT, you remember that? Oh, wow. My Lord. Yeah, it's I'm telling you, honey, it's been a journey. It has been a journey. Look like it's saying, hold on. Y'all forgive me. I'm having technical issues here, but I'm not going to let that stop me. The devil loves to interfere when things is good, but I don't let that stop me. If you got to go, I completely understand. But if you can hang in there just a few more minutes. But yeah, so 11 years, he brought it back to my remembrance, the 22nd of January. And it was strange because I lost my two brothers January 1st, 2013. I gave my life to Christ. I accepted Christ the 22nd of January 2013. And then I lost my husband April of 2014. So when I tell you it's been a journey. It's been a journey. It's been a journey. I think I've shedded more tears because it's truly have been a journey. But through it all, I had to learn to trust in God. I had to learn that He had my back. I had to learn that He will always be there. I had to learn. I didn't understand. No one told me the road was going to be easy. Oftentimes people feel like that when they give their life to Christ, that they're not going to go through anything. But for some of us, that's the moment you start going through. That's the moment the test begins. But I had to hang on in there. I held on in there. And I'm still holding on today. After losing my husband, I just didn't see how I was going to keep going. But I never gave up. I never gave up. I felt like the wind was knocked out of me. It was a struggle to get back up and get back in routine. I felt like my relationship with God was it was impossible to get it back. I felt like I really couldn't grieve how I wanted to grieve because I was trying to be strong for others. And to be honest, I'm not sure still if I've grieved. I think I've learned to just to live with it. God has been faithful. He has brought me through. He has brought me through some things that if He had not been on my side, I would have gave up. I would have walked away. I would have threw in the towel. But everything that I've gone through, it all makes sense. And people may start out with you on your journey. That doesn't mean they get to see you in your completed form. Not everyone gets to see where God is taking you. Not everyone gets to see what God is doing in your life. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful He brought me through. He brought me through. I said He brought me through. There was moments. There was times I was at my lowest. No one knew. Because I didn't have no one to talk to. I didn't have anyone that would understand without judgment. So I had to keep it to myself. I had to deal with it on my own the best way I knew how. And it hasn't been easy. See, when you're at your lowest, that's the time where you need someone. You want someone there. But all I had was God. I'm talking spiritual. I'm not talking about natural. There was no one there for me in the natural during that time. It doesn't make a difference if someone else has gone through it. That don't mean they're there for you when you go through it. I had to walk it out while trying to be strong for others. Not wanting anyone else to know how I was affected, how I was feeling. I hid it because I wanted to be strong for them. So I buried how I was feeling. But 11 years, I'm still holding on. I'm still holding on. See, when Job started losing things, his living, his children, etc., etc., his friends began to say, "What did you do wrong? Come tell us what you've done, Job." Job hadn't done anything. God had a conversation with the devil and said, "Have you considered? I know you're going to and fro. I know you're looking for someone to devour, but have you considered my servant Job?" And sometimes I feel like God has had a discussion with the devil and said, "Have you considered my servant Yolanda?" Job said, "Naked I came into this world, and naked I'm going out." And I'm saying, just like Job said, naked I came in this world, and naked I'm going out. See, when you get to that place, when you get to that maturity level, that's when you fall in Christ for real. God had to teach me, you're putting your trust in things and people that will eventually fail you, that will eventually let you down. That in those dark times, those lonely times, they won't be available. And I had to learn this stuff, and it hurts. But I thank God that I've learned it, because I got it now. I get it now. But it was something that I needed to go through. That was a pruning for me. You may not have to experience that, and I pray to God that you don't. Because God knows who can handle what. I may not can handle the things that you've gone through. You may not can handle the things that God has carried me through. But nevertheless, we're all going to go through something. Jesus went through, and we're not greater than him. He said, if you want to reign with me, you must suffer. There's some suffering in this walk. There's some losses in this walk. But when your mind is made up, you learn that whatever God see fit that needs to go, God will replace. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful this morning. And I pray that you're grateful as well. Sometimes we can go through things in life. We can become ungrateful. We can murmur and complain. When you don't understand what God is doing, you'll murmur and you'll complain. Why am I going through this? Why am I going through that? God, why did this happen? Why did you allow that to happen? You'll begin to murmur and complain. And God will allow you to sit in that until you stop the complaining, until you stop the murmuring. Because God knows what is best for you and I. He knows what you need to be pruned of. He knows what I need to be pruned of. And we don't get to choose how he prunes us. We don't get to choose how he gets glory out of our lives. He doesn't consult with me concerning you, and vice versa. So I'm grateful this morning. And if you're in a season where you're going through and your life is life and it's just not making any sense, people is talking about you because they feel like you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Trust God. Trust God. Sometimes God is the only one you have to trust. But if you trust God, that's all you need. Because God is controlling, God is operating your life, God is ordering your footsteps. Just trust him. Even when you can't trust him. What was you saying, TT? I think I missed the day whenever you called me. Yes, God is able, TT. We all are guilty of that. We all have put our trust in this or in that or in this one or in that one. And then the moment they let us down, you supposed to be my this. You supposed to be my that. You supposed to have my back. You supposed to always be there. Sometimes people don't know how to be there. Sometimes people don't know how to have your back. Sometimes people don't know what to say. And then you have those that's just not going to be there anyway. And you have to be okay with that. The devil will have you upset with people because you feel like they should do this, they should do that. They should be there for this, they should be there for that. But you have to understand we all have our own lives. And we choose what we want to be a part of, but we also choose what we don't want to be a part of. But we have to be okay with that. Don't be bitter. Don't be angry. Don't be mad. Allow people to be people. Allow people to be people. Life is short. Here today and gone tomorrow. I remember my brother was in that car accident, my oldest brother, Dennis. I miss him. We were so close, so close. My Lord, if there was anyone that I thought that I could trust, I knew it was him. If it's anyone that I knew would have my back, I knew it was him. I never had to question his love. But I had just spoke to him earlier that day before his car accident. And he was on his way to work. And we just chopping it up like we normally do on a daily basis. And then I get the call, he was in an accident. I'm like, I just got off the phone with him. And his life was never the same. Never the same. And sometimes I think about what happened, the fire, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord. It's been tough. It's been tough. But God has been faithful. I'm going to get on off of here. I don't know how long I've been on here because this one don't show. But I said, God, it looked like the ones that I know truly love me for me, that I never had to question, that I never doubted. Those are the ones that are no longer with me. And I miss them dearly. My other brother, Willie. If I ever needed a babysitter, even though I wasn't a person that went out hardly ever, he would say, sis, if you want to go out, I'll babysit for you. Such a big heart. I was a daddy's girl. I'll never forget the day when we got the call that we lost him. So it's been a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster. But even through all that, God still has been faithful. Trust God. Whatever you're going through, He'll get you through it. He'll bring you through it. He'll carry you through it if He have to. He's had to literally carry me. He's carrying me now. God has been faithful. I'm going to hop off. Everyone have an amazing day. If you have to hit the reset button, just hit it and just start all over again. It's not too late. Until next time, everyone have an amazing day. God bless. Love you all, and thanks for hopping on and hanging in there.